Well, again, those roughly 170 passengers did finally make it here to the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, and everyone we met said they were just happy to be here safe and sound. Underneath the snow, as you mentioned, a bunch of ice. Take a look at this. Whew, I brought you lunch. Take a look at those yummy leeches. Dr. Walter Palmer did just walk in the front doors of his business here. He has a team of people, basically employees, working under him, asking the jury to make their decision with severity. And then he said, quote, "My bad, I meant sincerity. Please make your decision with sincerity." Hey, Megan and Chris, I'm taking a little break here, floating in the dive team pool, wearing one of these Mustang suits. It is pretty buoyant, as you can see. It actually takes more work to get my feet down on the ground than it does to float on my back. So if you hear a chainsaw or anything happening behind us, that is what you're hearing as this masterpiece is created. And with me this morning is John Maher with The Wild. Now, John, how important is it tonight for the fans to be here supporting The Wild? They're excited, but what about the stores? Is it really worth it for them to be open on Thanksgiving? Slopes and resorts are opening 2 weeks early this year. Means I've got 2 extra weeks to try to do more than just get halfway down the bunny hill. Right next door, grandstands that have stood here for decades are now twisted into a metal corkscrew by the winds.
I would say that it was premeditation, not self-defense, but he killed Mr. Stevens out of anger.
All right, again, Ryan was an alternate jury. He was released, so he is able to talk about the case now.
Now, Inside Edition.
Several people I've seen walk through that front door that appear to be patients are just making a beeline for the front door. They're parking in a side parking lot, not actually the parking lot for the dentist office. The man I was able to speak with one-on-one, he started getting a little nervous when the protesters directed their chants at him, but he said it wasn't going to stop him from going to show support for Dr. Palmer.
The now infamous Bloomington dentist arrived in silence, but his return to work was anything but quiet. Shouts of "Extradite Palmer" rang out as he walked from the curb across the parking lot and entered through the front door of his business, not saying a word.
Right now, I think he's enjoying the attention. Walking in with a smirk on his face shows that he's enjoying the attention.
Media outlets from around the world have been following Palmer's story since news first broke. The well-known research lion Cecil killed by Palmer while on a hunting trip in Zimbabwe.
Does he think he's a celebrity now? If you can be a celebrity by being the most hated man in the world, then I guess, you know.
Though many people have been talking about him, very few have actually spoken with him.
Leading up to today's return to work, we have had no contact with Dr. Palmer.
The Bloomington police say they learned of his intended return to work the same way most of us did, from an interview he did on Sunday with the Associated Press. Now, Bloomington police have had officers and security cameras in place all day long, but not by Palmer's request.
That is owned by the city. We do deploy that in areas where we feel there could be a potential for a crime.
So far, the protest has been peaceful.
The whole way he went about it was wrong.
Demonstrators say they have just one goal.
That Walter Palmer would lose his business, not have enough money to ever do this again.
Now, while the protesters are very vocal right now, there are supporters of Dr. Palmer. There are people that don't want him to lose his business, like that protester said. In fact, I spoke with one man who said he became a new patient today.
Reporter Jennifer Ann Wilson is joining us live at the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport this morning, where passengers arrived very early after what was probably a very frightening situation.
Oh, frightening, tense, and a much, much longer journey than anyone initially expected. Now, these roughly 170 passengers initially left Charlotte, North Carolina just before 8 p.m. They expected to arrive here at the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport at 9:30 last night, but instead, that flight turned around in midair, went back to Charlotte where they'd just come from, and landed, and then the pilot came over the loudspeaker and said this.
Threat against this aircraft, so we're going to have law enforcement come over and take a look. Right now, that's all the information I have.
My heart dropped because, you know, I just want to get off the plane, and you never know if something's going to happen, so that anxiety and just, it was not fun.
Well, that was one of the passengers, Otto. He tweeted video and photos as he and his fellow passengers were deboarded from the plane through those emergency doors, then loaded onto multiple buses, moved to a different part of the tarmac while law enforcement did a security sweep.
And then bus by bus, they lined everybody up, brought the dogs out, everybody got sniffed.
Now, again, there were roughly 170 passengers on board that plane. They were boarded onto a different plane and finally landed here at MSP just a few hours ago, more than 4 hours after initially scheduled to land. Now, we did reach out to American Airlines, and they did confirm that there was indeed a security threat on that plane, but they did not go into details about exactly what that threat was. Yeah, these are people who make their living driving rain or shine, but last night icy rain, frozen over slush, and then 8 more inches of snow here in Rogers forced many semi-truck drivers to pull over and take the night off. And when I showed them the dash cam video from the accident where the semi-truck was driving east on 94 near 101, where it crashed into 2 squad cars after hitting an icy patch, the drivers I spoke with here are sure glad they played it safe. These semi-truck drivers should be on the road by now.
I'm not moving until the roads are clear enough for me to do it safely. Otherwise, there's no sense in moving.
But Jim O'Connell, along with dozens of others, haven't moved since early Monday night.
It's been that bad that I haven't even bothered trying to get out of the parking space.
Nick Thies was on the road last night, but not for long.
Said you could watch the trailer tires just skip because it was so icy they couldn't roll on it.
He says he passed last night's crash, and that convinced him to pull over. When I showed him the dash cam video, he's even more glad he did.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's the one I seen in the ditch. That was halfway jackknifed, and with the squad car almost wrapped around the semi when I came by last night.
I showed the video to Jim, too.
I mean, when you see that, what do you think?
I'm very happy I'm sitting here. I definitely made the right choice.
Slow down, people.
Yeah, slowing down is what State Patrol and the Rogers Police Chief that they're begging you to do, too, because underneath the 8 inches of snow, take a look at this, a layer of ice. You can see it pretty clearly here, but it's not always that easy to see on the freeway on 94 or 101, and the roads are still pretty messy. Now, the good news here is nobody was seriously injured. Both officers involved in that crash last night are at home recovering, and I have seen a number of semis start to pull out of this travel center. They're ready to get back on the road after being parked for more than 12 hours in many cases, but the roads are still slippery, so whatever you do, just remember to take it slow. Reporting live in Rogers, Jennifer Ann Wilson, 5 Eyewitness News.
Live in Minneapolis right now. She's got the winning picks, I believe, Jen.
I just might. I definitely do have the winning numbers. Are you guys ready? You have your tickets out? Okay.
Ross!
All right. The first number is 32.
Yes!
Whoa. 16.
Yes!
19.
Yes!
57. 34. And the Powerball number is 13.
Ross!
Some of these guys actually have bought multiple tickets, so while we let them check their numbers for real, I want to tell you about a local business that is definitely a winner, because regardless of what happens with these numbers tonight, in the past couple of days, they've seen their ticket sales more than double. 10 times more lotto tickets they've sold than usual.
This family-owned gas station in northeast Minneapolis has become a destination.
So you didn't get gas?
No, no, just tickets.
For Minnesotans with a dream.
I just want, a big house, a big mansion.
Looking for luck.
They sold $1 million winning ticket here already, and I figured lightning could strike twice.
May the good Lord take a liking to us all.
It's been crazy. Like, I'll look outside and you just see cars slowly going by each other like this because there's nowhere to go.
And as the jackpot grows, so does hope.
My hands keep itching. I got that feeling.
If you get that kind of money, I'd be Ferrari, LaFerraris, and Testarossas, and Lamborghinis, and so on.
Probably a vacation home somewhere warm.
Skyrocketing sales at this Super America from $200 a day to several thousand.
I'm going to buy 5 Powerball tickets. The first time I've ever bought a lottery in my life.
How many tickets are you buying?
50.
50? 50 Powerball tickets.
People will walk in and just spend hundreds of dollars on Powerballs and then walk out.
100?
100, yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Which means the real winner in this record-breaking Powerball game are the businesses like this one selling the tickets.
My Lord. I'm still waiting for this machine to smoke. Because this is crazy.
We won. We won.
So this amazing girl right here actually matched one of the numbers, I think, right? Kind of a winner.
if nobody wins that big jackpot tonight, well, next week's drawing is going to be well over $1 billion. So while you think about that, I think these guys are going to be drowning their sorrows or cheersing to the fact that she's buying this round. Live here in Minneapolis, I'm Jennifer Ann Wilson, 5 Eyewitness News.